Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader and welcome to Novelty Chats, our weekly Sunday videos where we discuss bookish things. Now, shame me all, I haven't got a mug of the week this week. I am so busy today and to squeeze the time in to film this video is all I'm going to get. So I'm just going to have to get tea on the way or at the destination today because time is not on my side this morning. Quick little reading update. I have had a great reading week, you guys. I finished The Romanov Prophecy by Steve Berry. This was a kind of thriller. That wasn't really a thriller. It wasn't really an action or mystery either. I don't know what it was genre-wise. Y'all know what I feel about genre. But it was really good. This is no great work of literature, but it was very enjoyable and the pacing was good and the wee mystery was good, and it is about a American lawyer who is working in Russia as part of the Tsar Commission because Putin's government has fallen and they have decided to re-elect a Tsar, but he finds some old documents that he shouldn't have found, and then he starts getting chased. There's kind of a mystery and kind of a thriller and kind of action, but not really a lot of any of those things, but it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. I also started and completed Tunnels by Roderick Gordon and Brian Williams. This was really, really interesting. Look how holographic the cover is there. I got this in a charity shop for 30p and I picked it up and I just thought yes, and the back can sum it up better than my brain ever could, so I'll just read it out to you. 14-year-old Will Burroughs lives with his family in London. He has little in common with them except for a passion for digging, which he shares with his father. When his father suddenly disappears down an unknown tunnel, Will decides to investigate with his friend Chester. Soon they find themselves deep underground, where they unearth a dark and terrifying secret. A secret which may cost them their lives. And this was really good. It was a really unique story. I wouldn't say it was middle grade. I thought it was middle grade when I picked it up. I don't think it is. I think it's a bit too old for middle grade. I would say that kind of 13, 14 kind of middle ground between middle grade and YA is where I would place this. But I thought it was really good. The writing was good, the pacing was good, the characters were good, it kept me on my toes, it was really interesting. And I was going to give it 4 stars. Until we got to the last 20 pages. And I looked at my boyfriend and I said, this isn't going to be happy. They can't sum everything up in the pages they have left. And they didn't. It was a complete and utter cliffhanger. And I understand this is a series. There's 6 books in the series. But I just picked this up secondhand at a charity shop. And I understand it was a series. But you can still wrap up and leave a book open enough for a sequel. You don't have to leave us with a cliffhanger. And it really annoyed me. And I took a point off for that. So I only gave it 3 stars. And I am currently reading A Beast. 11/22/63 by Stephen King. I have always wanted to read Stephen King, but I am an absolute chicken and can't do horror. It's not even, it's more of a squeamishness than a scaredness that prevents me from indulging in the horror genre. But I've always wanted to know about Stephen King, people love him, and I thought I was missing out. This is a Stephen King that isn't horror. It's kind of like sci-fi, and it's about time travel. And it is massive. And I'm going on holiday in 10 days. So I have it tabbed out of how much I have to read a day if I want to finish this bad boy before I go on holiday. Because I don't want to take this big heavy beast on a plane with me, considering I'm already taking this chunker. I cannot bring both of these on a plane. I will never get them in my hand luggage. So unfortunately it has to be read before holiday. But I'm tabbing it out and I think I can do it. Finally, you're all shouting, get on with the discussion. Okay, I'm getting there. And today I would like to discuss e-readers with you guys, especially with me going on holiday. in just over a week, I wanted to talk to you about e-readers, how I use them, how I got into them, what sort of platforms I like to use, and all that shebang. Through my teenage years, I stopped reading a lot, and I have a whole video on that, discussing kind of the reasons why I sort of fell out of love of reading, and then as an adult how I got back into it again. But as a teenager, I wasn't really a reader. I did read, but no more than the average person maybe, and that was fine with me. After my grandfather, who I was extremely close with, passed away, his wife wanted to give both me and my brother something of value that we could have, like an heirloom, you know, something of his. My brother got a gold watch that he had received from the company he had worked for long term, and she was very concerned that she didn't have anything really of value of his to give to me. And I was extremely touched when she decided that she would give me his Kindle, which he had for only a matter of weeks before he died, and had bought it for the sole purpose so that he could read a Bible on his deathbed and wouldn't have to hold up a whole big heavy Bible. That meant a lot to me in a lot of different ways, and I started looking into e-readers and like getting some of the free books, but I never really used it because I wasn't really into my reading phase again yet. Once I got into reading again and I blew off the dust from my grandpa's Kindle, I started using it a lot more, and it was something that I did enjoy, but I think mostly for using the Kindle rather than reading the books. I enjoyed the books that I read, but the process of reading wasn't the same. But just using his Kindle, I enjoyed it a lot. He had written his name and address in the front cover of the case. I didn't change the case, and when I opened it up every time and saw his name, it meant a little something to me. But I never really got into the e-reading format. It was like the first Kindle. It didn't have a backlight and was pretty slow, and you couldn't do a lot of things on it. But it was enough for me to get a taste of the e-reader world. A couple of years ago, when I bought myself an iPad, I downloaded the Kindle app onto the iPad, and I started using it more than I ever had the Kindle. My iPad was with me more often than my Kindle was. It had the sort of light, self-lighting function that my old Kindle didn't have, and I just found it a lot easier to read Kindle books on my iPad, so that's kind of the way I went, because I already owned a lot of Kindle books from owning the Kindle. But where my opinions for e-readers really changed was when, about 4, I want to say, years ago, when I moved into this house. I can't remember how long ago that was. It was maybe 5 years ago. I can't remember. But when I moved into this house and started going to this local library, I started getting a lot more into the library again. My reading was just starting to kick-start again. And I discovered that the library had this thing called Overdrive, on which you could download audiobooks onto your phone. So if you are not sure if your library provides this, please ask them, because I know that most libraries in the UK do, and a lot in other countries do as well. And basically, Overdrive is kind of like a big sharing system, and you log in with whatever company or whatever that you're using to access it, and it shows you the files that you're allowed to access, that your company has allowed you to access, type thing. So I would be going through Libraries NI, the Northern Irish Library System, and I put in my card, library card number, and my wee passcode that they gave me, and I can download all these audiobooks. Like, there's so much stuff, and I was so surprised by not only the variety, but they had really current, up-to-date stuff as well. And I was always a big audiobook listener, even when I wasn't a big reader, and so I was lapping this up. And then I discovered that not only on Overdrive can you get audiobooks, but you can also get ebooks, and again, these are very new releases. As I've said before, I do not buy new books. Like 99.9% of my books are pre-owned, and if they're not, it's someone has bought them to me. I never buy myself new books. And sometimes I do feel like I'm missing out on new releases. It's not something that really matters to me, but sometimes there's a new release I really want and I just can't afford to go and buy it at $12.99 or whatever the starting price may be. But the fact, and even the libraries don't have them, but they have them on e-format, and that was something that really intrigued me. And that's really when I started getting into reading ebooks. But it was through my library on my iPad that I really got into it. And also using things like once I started BookTube, NetGalley and stuff, they send it to my Kindle account, but my Kindle, my grandpa's Kindle, is too old to even access the stuff NetGalley sends me, so I have to access it on the Kindle app on my iPad, and my iPad's with me all the time because I work on it and everything else, so it's really handy for me. I still, beyond a doubt, physical book girl all the way. But I do enjoy e-readers, and I would be interested to see not only if you enjoy them, but how you enjoy them, because I think it's not just a Kindle. That's not the only way to access ebooks. So I would be interested to see how you enjoy ebooks if you do enjoy them. Another thing that I found that really boosted how I used it was a website called BookBub. If you go on to bookbub.com, I think it is, I'll link it down below anyway, and you log in. You just have to give them your email address, make up a password, and you give them your interests in books. So do you like thrillers? Do you like romance? Do you like westerns? Do you like kids books? Do you like fantasy? Whatever you like, you just go through all the lists and tick what you're interested in. And then every single day they send you an email, and it will be books that fall into your interests, ebooks, that are either free or really reduced on sale that day. So they kind of go through Amazon, but it's not only Kindle supported, it does Kobo and other different platforms as well for e-reading. So if you don't do Kindle, check that out. And they send you an email every day, and they're normally all free or 99p, and it's all reduced. And some of them you just look, you scan through the email and you go, there's nothing there that interests me. But I have got some really, really good titles of it. I've got some favourites of it. There's been some books that have like just came out. Sherry, I got, it was a week or two ago, my email came through, and Sherry Lapina's brand new book was on there. Is It Stranger in the House? That came out I think at the end of last year, and it was down to 99p. I didn't get it because that's not my bag, but so that's really good. So I would suggest that as well if you're looking for cheap ebooks, but if you can get Overdrive, it's free, but obviously you can't access everything. So in regards to some of the pros and cons, I feel like there is way more pros than cons to ebooks. Basically, the only cons of ebooks is it doesn't look like, nor does it feel like a book. And that's really the only difference here. It doesn't, you can't stack them on your shelves to make them look nice. Even though my bookshelf maybe isn't nice, it could do with a bit of a reorganise, but busy life here, people. It doesn't feel like a book, and it doesn't look like a book, and that's really the only cons of ebooks that I can think of. The pros much outnumber that. Travelling. Travelling with just this, and I can have as many books as I want, ebooks, audiobooks, I can download movies, songs, everything, and just have it in this. So think of all the stuff you can get on an iPad, and then think of this one book. I get like 100 of these on this, plus movies. So travelling, definitely ebooks, not only for weight and space, but just general encumberment, are much better. They're also great for reading in bed. You don't have to have the blaring lights on annoying your partner, and you can lie down sideways and the pages all don't furn. You don't get cold hands because they're out of the duvet all the time holding this book. So I do enjoy an e-reader in bed. A lot of the times you can get free or cheap audiobooks or ebooks. And I get all of my books cheap because that's how I choose to go about sourcing books the cheapest way possible. But as I said, you can get brand new releases on free from your library in ebook format, and it won't cost you a penny. And then some of my favourite things about ebooks is you can highlight and you can define words. So you can highlight passages. Obviously you can do this in a real book as well with a highlighter, but for non-fiction and ebooks I like to put different colours in for different things, and I think especially for non-fiction I think it's really good to highlight certain bits, because then you can go through your highlighted bits. So you can go through the book, highlight whatever you want, and then at the end, this is through the Kindle platform, you can go and just look at everything you've highlighted like all together, which I think is really cool. And also for me, I really use the define, and I think most platforms have this ability where you just touch on a word and it comes up with a whole bunch of things, and one of the things is define, and you touch it and you just get the Oxford Dictionary definition of that word. And for me, I find that really helpful, and it's another pro for the ebooks. But in saying all that thing, there is nothing like a book. I don't think they will ever replace books. Not for me, not for anybody. And we're book lovers. We're bookworms, we're book nerds, we're book dragons or lions or however you want to put it. There's just something about a book that sort of adds to the whole thing. So e-readers are fab, and I wish I used them more, and I'm going to try to use them more. But I think books is and will be where it's at for hopefully my lifetime. I don't want to see books going anywhere, you guys. That is our discussion for today. Please let me know down below if you enjoy ebooks, why, how, if, when, where, who, all those good things. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all healthy, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.